Okay, good afternoon, partners.
Good afternoon,
Good
Hello, good afternoon.
afternoon.
Julie. How are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
How old are you?
How about you? ¿Cómo
Ah,
estás?
okay. I am working. In this moment, I am working and I am studying, but I am fine. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Go to start.
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, for this activity, we must uh, do the Skype meeting. Say, you must socialize about the next questions by giving arguments to each answers. Okay, the first questions is, could the United States Air Force have avoided the attacks? My answer, I think that the Air Force could avoid the attacks because the United States is a world power with the latest technology. But according to the sources of documentally, the military of the force area were taken to a training called the war game, and this caused the military in charge were not alert for the attack. Okay.
Okay. Hi, my name is John Freddy Carvajal. I continue with my answer about the first questions. Um, yes, uh, the U.S. Air Force is one of the most powerful of the world. This country has been spending a lot of money in technology, in armor, intelligence, in order to keep one or maybe the most powerful air force on the world. For that reason, I consider, as a matter of fact, the US Air Force could have prevented the attacks. It's all for me. This is my answer.
I
O-
agree. Okay.
okay, my name is Karen Daniela Silva Serpa. My answer is that I think that if it has been real that the attacks happened, the Air Force had been able to avoid the attacks because they had enough technology to track less attacks. But as the state was the one who planned the attack, then the Air Force could not avoid what the already knew would happen. Then it is said that they did not realize and that the high technology they had at that time failed.
okay. My name is Silvia Juliana Mantilla. My answer is, according to Masuko, the Armed Force already, before that this attack was going to happen, so they were able to prevent it, but they decided to cover it up and the ones who didn't, anything, and so they went to know the Bowley 7 to show that the United States was suffering a big terrorist attack. It was also said that one of member of the Air Force heard about the attack and wanted to warn his superior, but they did not listen to him. When the attack occurred 13 minutes later, the Air Force commanders appeared to make was for the one there when they were able to evacuate the two towers and preventing so many people from raiding.
Good afternoon. My name is Leonardo Santos. Well, my answer is yes. I think that reaction time of the United States Air Force was very slow outside the protocols. They only had 4 planes to protect that area of the country, which weakened their reaction capacity. The supposed hijacked airplanes flew for more than 1 hour. The Air Force could have intercepted them.
Okay. Okay, let's go with the second questions. Were the Twin Towers deliberately demolished by explosives?
Definitely yes, for me. I consider this is a perfect example of demolitions. Furthermore, the Twin Towers collapsed when the fire was practically extinguished. In addition, the media give a notice the Twin Towers were collapsed 23 minutes before than the towers collapsed. That I can analyze. This is a complot. This one complot. One of the lie biggest on the world. On another hand, a few years ago, a pure old man say, "I belong to Shia," and he was one of the people in charge of demolish one building near to the Twin Towers. For me, the answer is yes.
Okay. Well, I think that if they were demolished with explosives, because the evidence that was collected by experts who were not involved with the comparison showed that it was not planes that crashed into the towers. All now they say it was planes that shot them down, but scientifically it cannot be possible that it has been destroyed part by part.
Okay, in my opinion, in the documentary, Masuko clearly explained how the Twin Towers were built. He went with several architects to explain how the towers were built, which he claimed were built in such a way that no even a plane, no matter how powerful the crash, would bring the down. And when you show the video of how the tower collapsed, you can see that they fell downwards, which would not happen if the Pentagon was destroyed by the plane. And we on September 11 did the two twin towers collapse in an extraordinary way. What Chinese concept the Masuko presented in the documentary, those towers were not demolished by the plane but is something else that could be explosive, and when you see how they feel you can see that it was a free fall. He explains that when the plane crashed in real liquid that produced fire but to lead to it collapsing in needed high energy to weaken its bases, and even Building 7 collapsing how before two towers filled with all being attacked via plane. All tests proved that two towers were not collapsed because of the crash.
Okay, well, according to the video, yes, the fall of the Twin Towers was not only caused by collision of the airplanes in the upper floors. Apparently, three were other controlled explosion in lower floors with possible explosive that weakened the structure.
Okay. My answer in these questions has been asked by many engineers who claim that the perfection of demolition is impossible. In my opinion, the train in which the buildings fell is very doubtful, so that only with the weight of the first floors it would collapse at such a great speed. I think they used explosives. Okay, let's go with the next,
Here.
the third questions. Were some people warned about the attacks?
I think that if they had warned that the attacks would happen, people would have been able to evacuate the Twin Towers before the attacks, and many people would have been saved. But the government knew it and kept it hidden so that people would not panic and think that that the attack came from another country. Another.
Okay, I don't really, but it's said that a woman called and made it, that she was going to die, because that makes you think that if there were people, well, was going to happen, but in my opinion, if she had warned the people, there would be so many because the collapse of the towers.
Well, my answer is yes. The Defense Secretary Rumsfeld, the senior military officers, and the CIA, they were avised of the possible attack in those days. The intelligence agencies in Russia, Germany, and other countries warned of the possible terrorist attack, but ignored them.
Okay, of course, I think that people warned about the attacks. In the documentary, he reveals to us that the president of Russia, Putin, sent a statement before President Bush and senior government officials warning of this possible attack and how the attack will happen.
Um, okay, Julie, you can repeat the question for me again, please?
Okay, in the documentary, he reveals to us that the president of Russia, Putin, sent a statement before President Bush and senior government officials warning of this possible attack and how the attack will happen.
The question, only the question, please,
I am sorry. Were some people warned about the attacks?
about the attacks. Okay. First of all, some countries like Russia and Germany announced about possible attack in USA. But we stand out the fact the USA didn't take important steps in order to reduce the high-risk terrorist threat. For that reason, I can conclude that answer is yes. The government had been advertised.
Okay, let's go with the four
For
questions.
for question.
For
Okay,
yes,
was the
Yes.
Pentagon really hit by an aeroplane?
Okay, there are questions about whether it was the plane that hit the Pentagon because, according to Masuko, the quakes found could not be from the 757 because part of that plane were not found. They made a comparison of how an engine should look when the plane hits, and it does not match with the quake found from the Playing gives demonstrate that those parts belong both the Global Hawk 4 Ulmarnik and the Pentagon what hit be sometime else, likewise several architects explain that if the Pentagon was hit by the plane is collapsed must has been immediate and would not last long staying.
Okay,
Well, According to the investigation, he was hit by an airplane, but not the one described in the report. Apparently, it was a smart aircraft, maybe with explosives to do more damage to the concrete walls and to cross to the other side of the structure. The report say that the intelligence agencies declared that they did not find the black boxes with the information of the airplanes, with the purpose of the hiding information.
Okay, yes. In my opinion, that is what they want us to think. That is what's a plane that crashed into the Pentagon. But I saw the explanation for the destruction, so read that it caused the Pentagon and the speed with which it was impacted. I think the Pentagon was really hit by a plane.
Okay. Was the Pentagon really hit built one on airplane? For me, this is one of the most confusing question, or not question, maybe the fact, because because one video clear is difficult to find. I was sure about one video, but I can find. However, it's complicated to believe why the Pentagon don't show one video because the Pentagon may have two cameras. Furthermore, the damage, according to the rebel of the possible airplane, showed one airplane nominated with the damage in Pentagon result. It doesn't compatible. This is my answer for this question.
Well,
Okay.
well, I think that if a plane had really hit it, parts of the plane would have been found. But it wasn't like that. Then what really hit the Pentagon was a missile. A hole was also made in the Pentagon, as if it were circular. This makes it more credible that it was a missile, and they say that there is only a brief video of the moment of the attack. When it is now that they were driving high technology, they manipulate everything so that everything supposedly went well and found that everything that was said was true.
Okay, let's go with the fifth question. Could the attacks have been avoided?
Repeat, please. The question.
Could, could the attacks have been avoided?
Avoided? Oh, I don't
Well,
know.
five
Five,
question.
five question.
Yes,
Yes,
it's
Yeah.
five. No, it's no five
was
Yes,
questions.
yes,
five.
yes.
Very had been prevented or avoided. I don't know.
One moment, please.
Okay, don't worry.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have been
Yes,
prevented.
five.
Have been prevented. Yes. I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
Yes. If all the defense agencies had attacked according to the protocols, but there were many intentional inconsistencies. But as it attack was planned by the government, it was impossible prevent it.
Okay, next you. Next me. My answer, I didn't know, but I think that so many innocent deaths could have been avoided. It was a very cruel plot, very similar to the Pearl Harbor attack.
Okay. Something more?
No,
No more?
no.
No more? Okay. Five, yes, five. Um, yes, this question for me is very similar to the first questions because we are speaking about perhaps the most powerful country of the world. It's like USA. It's one of the
Hmm.
most biggest, one of the biggest country in the world. Yeah. In this order, the USA could have prevented. In addition, people now the security efforts, the step to reduce the drugs as explosive are to shrink. Yes, the rules are very strict. For example, is very strange this measure. It's all for me. No more.
Okay.
Repeat
Um,
to answer.
The
See,
answer?
repeat your answer
Your,
by the audio is
my
regular.
okay,
yes,
okay.
Yes.
Don't worry. Yes. Five. Yes. Could the attacks have been prevented? Yes. For me, yes. This question for me is very similar to the first question because we are speaking about perhaps the most powerful country of the world. In this order, I am completely secure that US could have prevented the attack. In addition, all people know the security in the USA in airports. The step to reduce of the empty drugs and explosive are to take to the stream. This is my answer for the question. Better, better.
okay.
Yes,
Okay.
my answer was better.
Yes.
Okay. I think that if the aircraft attack had really happened at the United States government side, of course, the attack could have been avoided because the planes could have been intercepted. But as it was the same government that produced the attacks, so that sometimes planned by themselves could not be avoided.
Okay, yes, it could have been avoided. It is Masuko says that the armed force already had knowledge of that attack. It could have been avoided because in the plane not to leave the place landed because each airport had cameras which could notice that some sign strange was happening or they could even evacuate each of the towers to avoid injuries and deaths.
Okay. The six, the six questions. Yes?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Was Osama bin Laden really captured and killed? My answer is very short. I thought that is true. After hearing so many controversies of this attack, I think that even this man is alive.
Okay.
Okay?
Serial
That,
killers.
yes.
In my personal opinion, no. Osama bin Laden No. No, because we have different theories. Like the group to kill Osama bin Laden are killed in different accidents. The fat was like haunted. Um, on another hand, the family of Osama bin Laden had been business with George Walker Bush family. He was the president of USA for 2001. No more.
Okay. I think that if he was captured and killed, but not by
Yes.
the
He was captured and killed.
Continue,
yes.
please.
Okay. I think that is he was captured and killed, but not by the United States government, but by the elite of Pakistan. He was captured and killed there. Then the United States Army took advantage on the situation and appropriated the capture, death, and disappearance of that character.
Okay, in the documentary, it's no, you know, if Osama bin Laden was actually killed or if he died long ago, but it's said that the USA Air Force was not the one who killed him because it is said that others did, and the USA decided to take the credit, but what is shown is that there was no evidence of the operation to prove that Osama bin Laden was killing beat a shot from the armed force. There is also a theory that he died of old age.
Okay. Well, the answer is uncertain. The secret agencies say he was killed in and his body thrown into the sea, but investigators say he remains alive in exile, protected by special force, because Osama was one of the best secret agents of the CIA, and other sources say he did in captivity in other country.
Okay. Um, Next, with the 7 questions.
The final question.
7 questions.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Did the USA government cause September 11 on purpose?
September 11 and propose. According to the video, yes. The logic is yes because the USA need to show to people, to American people, the idea to terrorists to be able to go to another country and steal the resource. No more.
Okay. Yes, the government did it on purpose to justify new attacks in the Middle East without an reproach from the rest of the world. They also tried to monitor the evidence so that what they say. People believed that it was so, but people and scientists realized that everything was happening very rare and began to investigate and give different hypotheses of how everything happened. But you all have your versions of how things happened. But for me, it was how and answer all my questions.
Okay, in the investigation of what happened that day, many consistencies are found with soldiers that they were involved in that attack, but it cannot be said for sure the American government is the perpetrator of the September 11 attacks of the Twin Towers.
Okay, well, according to the investigation, and the evidence, the lack of justicial answer from the government and these secret agencies, yes, the attack was scheduled, planned, and executed by the government of the United States and their secret agencies.
Okay. I think that the 2001 United States government did not identify it as charged, but did nothing to prevent it because it had other plans. Okay, that is all. Um, um, I want to share uh, a little about the victims. At the World Trade Center in Lower Manhattan, 2,753 people died when the hijacked flights. 11 of American Airlines and 175 of the United States Airlines were intentionally crashed into the North and South Towers or died as a result of the attacks. Of those who died during the initial attack and subsequent collapse of the towers, 343 were New York firefighters, 23 were city police, and 37 were agents of the Port Authority. The victims were aged between 2 and 85 years, approximately 75 to 80% of the victims were men. At the Pentagon in Washington, 184 people died when American Airlines Flight 77, which had been hijacked, crashed into the building. Near Shanksville, Pennsylvania, 40 passengers and crew members aboard United Airlines Flight 93 died when the plane crashed into a fire. It is believed that the hikers crashed the plane in the place instead of their unknown target after the passengers and the crew tried to regain control of the flight deck. As of July 2019, 1,660, I'm sorry, 645, 64% of the 2,753 remains of WTC victims have been identified according to the coroner office. That is my report for the video.
Okay, thank you. I think in this activity, I conclude, for me, in my personal opinion, I think that it was a bigger complot. It was a bigger complot in the
Yes.
history We can see how one country, in order to keep the power, to keep the economy, to keep the to be higher, is able to kill people. Is because the most important is the money for this country. It's similar with our natural recurse. For example, the water and our trees and the gold and the transportation, and how people can do pollution in order to win money, and nothing else matter, only the money, only the business. This is the conclusion for me.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I have other opinion regarding what happened on the September 11 in USA. I consider that this attack hurt the ego of the Americans. In this way, the government convinced them and justified the invasion of the countries of the Middle East, as Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iraq. Yes. However, they did not think that the damage was so much to come. Also, I have some question. For example, why the hijacked planes were not detected and intercepted if they fly for more than 1 hour and a half until they researched their fatal destination? And what who traveled in the planes that really go lost? And why never show in the airport cameras the 19 terrorist attack images? This is my report, my opinion.
Okay. Anybody?
Okay, thank you.
Somebody has
um,
any more?
Miss Mantilla, no? Miss
Pues
Daniel, no?
hay conclusion. No more into conclusion, Daniela.
Okay.
Daniela, do you have a conclusion? Daniela is here.
Yes, yes, yes. I think that everything was also planned. There were many people involved, and government wanted to hide everything that happened, but over time new things were discovered about we and how everything happened.
Okay, but my conclusion, I can say that the United States government will be very involved in the attack on the Twin Towers, and it is important to emphasize that everything signed in the documentary is proven by people who have the theology to affirm every theory and every conjecture side and everything side on interesting because it's affirmed in reality that the September 11 occurred. The question is, with that government causing the catastrophe? Or is right they want the people who was part of the armed force and that time admitted that everything was planned but did not cause many consistencies and that they found several proofs that they need everything confirmed by the United States about what happened.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
You
you
will
very
be
Okay.
a
much.
good teacher.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
Well,
thank
thank
you so
you.
much, everybody.
Bye.
It's a
Okay.
pleasure
Thank you for
Bye.